Yeah.
So we're really excited about this virtual workshop today. We just started doing this series maybe in the past month. This is our second workshop in the series, and then we have a lineup pretty much weekly. I have some weeks we have two coming up through the next like month and a half. So definitely, I will send a recap email with all the information about how you can see what's going on our schedule. We also do networking events in South Florida. If you're not familiar with Rose and Hustle, we do the networking events twice a month, and then we also have the virtual workshops and in-person workshops. I'm actually working. Jill and I just started talking yesterday about reviving one of our favorite workshops together, which is improv for entrepreneurs. So all of that information will
Yeah.
be up on the website and on our calendar. So today is, like I said, it's the second in our series. It's a free 1 hour workshop. Jennifer is amazing. If you haven't met her before, you're really going to get a lot of great insight, and I'm actually very excited about this personally. So without further ado, I'll go ahead and hand it over to Jennifer. And if anybody has not already muted themselves, just make sure you stay on mute, and she will let you know if she needs you to participate.
Perfect. Thank you, Summer. Well, hello, everybody. I unfortunately only can see, I know we have one more that I can't see right now. So, welcome, everybody. My name is Jennifer Fidder, if we haven't met. I'm a social psychologist, hypnotist, and speaker. And I mainly work one on one with clients. I do a lot of hypnosis based sessions, but I also do workshops similar to this one, just a little bit longer usually, and seminars and some speaking engagements. And what we want to do today is we want to kind of get a better understanding of how our mind works. Because I don't know if you've ever been in this situation, you want to change something in your life and you're very determined and you're like, this is going to happen. And then it doesn't because you fall back into old habits or you keep repeating the same thing that you've done before. And we want to find out today why that keeps happening and how we can kind of tap into this, like the power of our subconscious mind, if you will, to make changes from within, from where they should be originating. And to do that, I will share my screen with you guys. Again, like I mentioned earlier, I will not be able to see you when I screen share. So if you have questions, you can pop them in the chat, and then Summer can say, hey, there's something going on. But I will also take a little pause after this. So if you have any questions, you can ask me then, okay? So let me share that. Give me a second. Okay. Can you guys see that? As it's loading. Yeah. Okay. Summer, can you guys see that? You're probably muted, Summer.
Sorry, I'm still figuring this all out. Yes, we can see it.
Okay, perfect. Because I kind of have to jump back and forth between tabs to be able to see you guys. So, welcome to your mind. If you can, please mute your phones and have something to write that you can use, because like I said earlier, we're going to do some exercises, so you might want to write down a few things during those exercises, or if you want to take notes. And since the exercises are hypnotic in nature, we want to make sure we have a more or less quiet environment to be able to really tap into our subconscious for this. So let's take a look at it. Most of us know we have two parts to our mind. We have a conscious part and we have a subconscious part. The conscious part is kind of the rational, logical, analytical kind. And what you're listening to me with right now is your conscious mind, hopefully. Okay. Your conscious mind is limited to doing a few things at a time. If you ever really tried to multitask, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. So you can probably do like 2 or 3 things, but more than that, it's going to get difficult. Our subconscious mind, on the other hand, is a lot more creative, it's imaginative, it's very emotional, and it constantly does 100 different things at the same time, and most of them in the background outside of our conscious awareness. So, for example, if you have children and you drive them to school and you take the same route every day, you're not consciously thinking about, oh, do I have to make a right turn here? Do I have to make a left turn? What you're thinking about is what I should make for lunch, what's going on at work. So your subconscious is kind of driving you to work. And that's a great thing because it creates patterns for us that make our life so much easier. If you had to consciously think about every little thing that you do every single day, you would be totally exhausted come 9 o'clock. So those patterns are amazing. And that's what we need our subconscious mind for. And our subconscious mind is also the part of our mind where all our beliefs and our thoughts and other behaviors originate from. And up until, and I listen, I want you to like give me credit for this amazing graphic. Because that took me like, I was like, I want to make this visual for you guys. Okay. So, and I explained to you what that all means. Up until the age of about 6 to 9, depending on the person, we are basically living just from our subconscious mind. Our conscious hasn't really developed yet. And what that means is we're absorbing everything that we see, everything that we experience, everything that we hear like a sponge. Everything that our parents tell us, what our peers tell us, what our teachers tell us. And that is how we build our so-called map of reality, an idea of how the world works. What is good, what is bad, what is right, what is wrong. That's when all the beliefs are established. And then at the age between 6 and 9, something that we call in hypnosis the critical faculty develops. I like to think of the critical faculty as like kind of a bouncer in front of a club who decides who gets in and who doesn't. So now you want to make changes in your life. Let me give you an example. Let's say you have a fear of spiders and you don't want to have a fear of spiders anymore. So what you do is you go to that critical faculty with the logic of your conscious mind and you're like, hey, I don't want to have this fear anymore because I don't really need it. And the critical faculty looks inside that club, inside the map of reality, and it's like, no, I can't do that. Why can't it do it? Because it learned back when you were little that spiders are dangerous. Maybe you watched your mother jump on a chair when you were 3 years old and she was screaming frantically, oh my God, there's a spider, kill it, kill it, kill it. So you learned spiders are dangerous, and that became part of the map of your reality. So then fast forward 30, 40 years, you know on a conscious level that most spiders are really not that dangerous. And you could just take a glass, put it on top, and throw it out. But then when you ask for this change, the critical faculty is like, no, because we learned spiders are dangerous. Other example, let's say, again, you were like 4 or 5 years old, you fell, you scraped your knee, and then your mother said, oh, it's not so bad, everything is fine, let's get ice cream. In that moment, you learned ice cream can solve my problems. Ice cream can make me feel better. Again, 30, 40 years, you're $15,000 in debt with the IRS. Ice cream's not going to solve your problems, but you're still trying, right? Because critical faculty doesn't allow you to make those changes. And a mentor of mine, and again, I can't see you guys, so if you have any questions, pop them in the chat and Summer will alert me. A mentor of mine had this great analogy, and I keep using it with my own clients, where he said, the mind is like a ship. Every ship has a captain and a crew. The captain is the conscious mind. The captain has a plan. He knows where he wants to go. He has the directions. But the subconscious mind, the crew, are the ones who are actually sitting down there and they're like 1 and 2, and they're doing all the work. They're rowing. They're making this boat move, right? And if those two are not communicating with each other, then nothing's happening. Or if one of those crew members is like, no, I don't want to row anymore, then it just all goes very slow. So when we're working with hypnosis, we're trying to address this one crew member that we need to talk to that exhibits the behavior or the thought pattern that we don't want anymore. And here's the thing. Everybody's mind works differently. So when we're, and I think I can, hold on, let me stop screen sharing. So everybody's mind works differently, meaning that everybody's mind has a different language that it prefers. So when we want to make changes, we want to tap into the subconscious mind. And the best way to do that is we're using something that the mind does on its own, a language that it speaks. I said before, it's very imaginative, it's very emotional, it's very creative. So we want to tap into that to kind of create a state of so-called subconscious dominance. If we're going back to the analogy with the critical faculty with the bouncer in front of the club, so instead of making the change by wearing that bouncer down and making our arguments and hoping he lets us in, we're creating subconscious dominance so that we can directly communicate with the subconscious mind and don't even have to argue with the bouncer. He doesn't have anything to do with it because we're taking everything that we want to change out of the subconscious mind, out of the club, and addressing it directly. And when we know how our subconscious mind works, then we know how to talk to it. And that's why we're going to do those exercises now, that we have a better idea, or you get a better idea of how your subconscious mind reacts and what language it speaks. Does that make sense so far? Do you guys have any questions? Yes, no, maybe? Okay, then let's jump right into the exercises. I just make sure I'm like on point here. So this is the part where you're going to need your paper, and I see if I can write that down so you guys can see it. Basically, you're just taking a piece of paper. It doesn't have to be pretty. And you're making a little table here. And then you write down on the left side, see, feel, hear, smell, and taste. Okay? And then you have two columns over here, one with one check mark and the other with two check marks. And when you have that, we're going into the first exercise. And what I want you to do is, if you have a backrest, that's amazing. If you don't, please make sure you don't fall off the chair. Okay? So place your feet flat on the floor, your hands on your thighs. And again, if you have a backrest, you can just lean back and get really comfortable. And then I want you to take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, you can slowly close your eyes. That's right. And then take another deep breath in and exhale. Perfect. And now I want you to imagine that you're standing in an empty room. There's nothing in that room but yourself and a chair. And that chair is one of the most comfortable chairs that you could ever imagine. And when you have an idea of how that chair looks like, I want you to nod your head for me that I know you got it. Perfect. And now I want you to imagine that you're walking over to the most comfortable chair in the world and that you're sitting down and you get really comfortable. You can wiggle your butt a little bit left and right and really feel how you're sinking into that chair. And when you have an idea of how comfortable that chair is, then nod your head for me again. Beautiful. And as you're sitting there in the most comfortable chair in the world, all of a sudden you hear some music. Can be actually one of your favorite songs. And when you can hear it, nod your head for me. Good. And as you're sitting there in the most comfortable chair in the world, listening to one of your favorite songs, all of a sudden, you smell some flowers. Maybe it's your favorite flower or just some roses. And when you can smell them, let me know again. Perfect. And as you're sitting there in the most comfortable chair in the world, listening to one of your favorite songs and smelling the flowers, I want you to think of the last thing that you ate. If you already had breakfast, it might be that, or what you had for dinner. And when you can taste it on your tongue, then let me know. Perfect. Open your eyes, shake it out. Good. And Liz and Wellness Luxury, I can't see you, but if you can turn your camera on, it would be amazing. If you're at work right now and you get in trouble, please don't. Out of the 5 here, so you want to take your notes and you want to make a check mark on every place that you could actually imagine. So if you saw the chair, you put a check mark here. If you could feel the chair, you put a check mark here, and so on. And then out of those 5, seeing the chair, feeling the chair, hearing the music, smelling the flowers, and tasting the food, which one was the easiest for you to imagine? Which one was right there? And let's go to the summer. Which one was the easiest for you? Can you unmute yourself?
I think like the music and the food and all of that was easier for me.
Okay, perfect. Jill?
Well, the last thing I ate was protein drink, which I'm still kind of drinking. So the taste was really easy because I can literally still taste it.
Gotcha.
But that being said, I think hearing the song was probably the easiest because it's just songs are so ingrained in my memory more than
Okay,
smelling flowers, I guess. Yeah.
okay, perfect. And Mariana, you said see or feel, right? You put it in the chat. Perfect. And Alyssa's at work right now, so we don't want to bother you. So, but this tells you what your preferred language of your mind is. Meaning, if the easiest was, and you want to just, I put the second column there so that you can make a check mark here for the one that was the easiest, right? So if it was the easiest for you to see the chair, you know that you're a very visual person. Okay. If you hear, then you know it's very auditory. And we go a little bit more into detail after the next 2 exercises, but that's just why we're doing this exercise. It gives you an idea of how your mind works. Okay. The next one we're doing is gonna be a little bit different, but you're starting out the same way. You're leaning back, you're closing your eyes. No, no worries, don't worry about it. I got a message from Wellness Luxury. I don't know what your name is, Wellness Luxury. I don't like to call you Wellness Luxury the whole time. It's weird.
My name is
running around.
My name is Danny.
Ah, okay. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. I'm so sorry again.
No worries, no worries. And you can always watch the replay. Okay, if you can't do the exercises with us right now, that's why we're recording it, so you can go back to it. Okay, so let's do the second one. Lean back for me again. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath in. And exhale. Nice. Let's do it again. Take a deep breath in. And exhale. Beautiful. And now I want you to imagine that all those little muscles around your eyes come very tired and very relaxed. And it feels so good. You can just allow that, and you can feel the relaxation around your eyes and in your face. And the more those muscles relax, the heavier your eyelids become. And it feels so good. It feels so relaxing. That's right. And now I want you to imagine that I'm taking a little bit of crazy glue and I'm placing it around your eyelids, but it still feels weirdly comfortable. And now with the glue around your eyelids and your eyelids very heavy, it will be impossible to open your eyes. And when you have the feeling that even if you wanted to, you can't open your eyes anymore, I want you to give it a try. And the more you try, the harder it is. That's right. And it still feels so good. And you can really try to open those eyes now. Yeah, that's right. Give it a try. Yeah. Good. And now I'm going to count to 3. I'm going to click my fingers. And then the glue will resolve. The eyelids are light. And you can just open your eyes again. 1, 2, 3. Back to normal. Open your eyes. Shake it out. So the reason why we're doing this, because Mariana opened her eyes and she was like, what's going on? So the reason why we're doing this is, again, to find out how your subconscious mind works. So these exercises, there's no right or wrong. And some will be super easy. Like you said, some just see the chair as if it's there. And some exercises will not work for you at all, which is also completely cool, right? Because that's why we're doing it. So who here felt the eyelids getting a little bit heavy? Just by show of hands. Okay. Who felt the eyelids getting a little bit tired? Okay. Who here felt that you, even if you wanted to, you wouldn't be able to open your eyes? And I can't see Liz and Danny right now. Okay, perfect. So what that tells you is the easier it is to get into this, right? The easier your subconscious mind is, or the easier it is for your subconscious mind to kind of communicate to the outside world, right? If you say, no, I didn't feel anything, I can just open my eyes or something, then that communication is just not there yet. So if you wanted to do some type of self-hypnosis or anything, you just would have to take a few more additional steps, if you will, to kind of tap into it, if that makes sense, right? So let's do one more thing, okay? You ready for it? So for this one, I'm going to show you first, because obviously you're going to have your eyes closed again, okay? So let me show you first. You're going to have your feet flat on the floor. You can already do that. And then in a little bit, I'm going to ask you to hold out your hands like this. And then I will place a magnet in your right palm and a magnet in your left palm. And as I click my fingers, those magnets will be activated and they start pulling your hands together. I don't want you to help it. I don't want you to resist it either. Just let happen whatever happens. Okay? So close your eyes. Take a deep breath. And then I want you to rub your hands against each other as if it's cold outside and you're trying to get warm. That's right. You start feeling the heat. Yeah. Okay, perfect. Then hold your hands out like I showed you. And I'm going to place a magnet in your left palm and a magnet in your right palm. Just hold your hands out to the front. And as I click my fingers, those magnets will be activated. And they start pulling your hands closer and closer together. And you can start feeling that magnetic field between your hands and you can start feeling it tingle. And that's right. And you can just allow them to get a little bit closer and closer together. And the more they come together, the stronger that magnetic field gets. And you can feel it pulling closer and closer together. And you don't have to resist it. You can just allow it to pull them closer and closer together. And the closer they come together, the faster they're actually moving, because that magnetic field is getting so strong that even if you wanted to resist it, you couldn't. That's right. And you can feel that tingle. That's totally fine. And it's just pulling your hands closer and closer together. And now leave them right there and open your eyes. Good. Shake it out. Did those hands move by themselves or did you move them? Let's start with Mariana. You're making a face. Share. Unmute yourself. Yeah.
I'm not sure what happened.
Try to explain it. What did you feel between your hands?
I felt the tingling, and it kind of felt like it was kind of pulling.
Okay. So and you saw right, you started out here and when you opened your eyes, you were right here, right?
Yeah.
Summer, how was it for you?
I definitely felt tingling, but they felt like they were pulsating. I'm not sure how far they got closer to each other.
We couldn't see you on the screen, so I'm not sure when you started.
Okay.
Right? But when you opened your eyes, did you feel there was a difference?
There might have been a little bit of a difference because I feel like
Okay.
I started here and then ended up like there.
Okay. Okay, perfect. Great. And Jill, I saw your hands moving, definitely. Did you move them or did they move by themselves?
My subconscious moved them.
Exactly.
The power of suggestion was very strong.
Okay, okay, good. So, and again, that's a sign of how your thoughts can manifest in the real world, right? There's another exercise that I'm not going to do with you now that I have on some of my videos where you kind of imagine you're holding a lemon and then you bite into that lemon and everybody starts salivering and they're like, oh, again, it's just in your head, right? There was no magnet, there is no lemon, but it comes into the real world. You're creating your reality with your thoughts. And that can be a very scary thing, but that can also be a very powerful thing. So if you really learn how to control those thoughts and how to control the power of your subconscious mind, you can create things that are beyond your wildest dreams. And with everything that you know right now, let me share my screen real quick with you one more time. So with everything that you know right now, the way you can use it. So we did the chair exercise. You see that, right? You can make some notes about like how you felt about the eye close. And then for the magnetic hands, you can simply make some notes like, did they move fast? Did they move slow? Did you feel something, to just get like kind of a reminder of how the experience was. But the most important part is the results that you were getting, especially from the first one with the chair. The way you can use it is, if, let's say, it turns out that the visual was the easiest for you to actually see the chair, then if you want to tap into the power of your subconscious mind, you can use things like vision boards or visualizations. If you feel like the auditory part, like you could really hear the music and it was right there, maybe some guided meditations or guided hypnosis sessions are for you. Or if you could really feel the chair, then you're a very kinesthetic person, so you might want to journal or write things down. So those are just simple ways how you can tap into the power of your subconscious mind and make things that you're maybe already doing. Maybe you're already saying affirmations, maybe you're already journaling, maybe you're doing already things, how you can make them more powerful. Because again, our subconscious mind works with imagination and emotions. So the more you can integrate that, the more you can activate it, the easier it is to actually get into the power of your subconscious mind, if that makes sense. Do you have any questions at all? We went through this quite quick because we're not so many people, so we don't have to, usually we're going through the room with the feedback and that takes a little bit longer, right? But when we're only having a few people, that's a lot faster. Do you have any questions about this?
I thought it was very interesting because I opened my eyes when you did the eye exercise, but then at the same time, when I was the chair, I could see it, I could feel it, and I could also hear the music, but not as strong as I could see it and I could feel. And then the magnet, it was just like, it was here and it ended up here. Like how, like, I'm very interested in learning how can I actually control my mind for the things that I want to do. Or like, it's very interesting to me to think about tastes, because I have a lot of trouble eating healthy because I don't like the tastes. I don't like the texture or whatever. Like, so I eat very plain, and I would love to eat a whole salad and like a bunch of greens and all those things, like, and I just can't. So that's something very interesting.
Yeah. And see, and that is also something that you can change, right? Because there's something inside your subconscious mind that's like, ew, broccoli. And then when you change that, right, then you're able to do this, just that. I know Summer knows about it. Mariana, do you know about the workshop on the 28th?
Yes, I actually, it's on my calendar, but it's a Saturday, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have my baby, but I have it here from 10:30 to 5:30. I might be able to, yeah, we'll see. I don't want to say much because this is recorded. What if my husband watches, you know?
No, but if any of you guys are interested, because we're going to do exactly that, what Mariana just said, we're going to teach you how to tap into that power of your subconscious mind, because this was really just like a little taste to give you an idea of how it actually works. And if you want to make real changes in your life, there's a whole protocol that you can use. What I use with my in-person clients, with my one-on-one hypnosis clients, is called the control system. It's a method that was developed in the UK, and it's a non-trance based hypnosis. So when I talk about hypnosis, a lot of people always have this idea with the pendulum going left and right, and now you're falling asleep. So there's different ways how you can do it. And that's one method that I use. It's non-trance based, so everybody's fully awake. And that's what I do in this workshop. It's coming up on the 28th this month of June. Like Mariana said, it's a Saturday from 10:30 to 5:30 in Fort Lauderdale. And we're going through the exact same protocol that I'm using with my one-on-one clients. So when you come in with a problem that you have, with something that you want to change, we're taking that as an example to walk you through the process. And then at the end of it, you know exactly, we will have made changes already, but you also know exactly how it works, how your subconscious mind works, so that you can make any additional changes yourself. Right? And that's just, for me personally, a very powerful tool to have that I still use every single day. And obviously for my clients as well. Does anybody else have questions? Anything you want to talk about? What you always wanted to say?
I have a question. So I know you've worked with like women like in business, like business owners, not just women, but like business owners. Like, what are some of the common issues that you've helped them overcome as it pertains to like business?
So especially when we're talking about entrepreneurs, we have a lot of fears, right? So fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of visibility. Like I have a lot of clients who come to me and they're like, oh no, I want to build this online business, but I don't want to be on camera. I don't want to go on podcasts. I don't want anybody to see me. I feel terrified as soon as somebody switches on a camera. Right? So those are a lot of things. And we all know the more visible you are, the faster you can grow your business. Fear of public speaking is another big one. How can you get in front of the most people and make the biggest impact? By speaking in front of bigger groups. Right? And if you're terrified of that and you're just like sweating like a pig every time you go on stage and you start stumbling, it's not going to help you. So those fears are big. Imposter syndrome, this feeling of I'm not good enough, everybody else is better than I am, people will find out that I don't know what I'm talking about, or things like procrastination. I have so many clients who keep being in front of their computer, redoing their website and their logos and trying to edit their courses and never ever put them out there. And that is a protection mechanism of your subconscious mind, because you're probably, again, afraid of failure. But if you never put your course out there, if you never launch your website, then you can't really fail. So mission accomplished. And that's what we're doing most of the time. Besides things like, overwhelm and stress management and sleep issues that we all deal with. But for entrepreneurs, that's usually the biggest part, like the fear part. Anybody else? Any questions that you have?
I was just wanting to say that you did an amazing job, and it was very interesting hearing it from like a more scientific point of view. Because I know we all struggle with something here and there, but typically you don't know the why. And so hearing the why of it and understanding that a little bit more and knowing, okay, maybe I just need a little more information about how to tap into my subconscious could be literally the solution for a lot of people, but they don't know it. So it's great hearing it from you. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And that's like one of my missions, that I kind of want to get hypnosis a little bit out of the woo-woo spiritual part. There's nothing wrong with spirituality. I'm a very spiritual person, but hypnosis, unfortunately, is still put in like the space of like mystical whatever. And over the past, I want to say 10 years probably, there has been so much research done about how hypnosis works, why it works. It's being used in medical settings with pain management. We do a lot with pain management in hypnosis right now, right? So really practical things that can change your life and that have scientific explanations behind them. So I'm trying to kind of get that out of that zone and try to get people to understand, hey, this is like a valid form of transformation. This is something that you can use every single day to enhance your life, to get your business forward, and just change the whole trajectory that you're on. So yes, thank you for saying that. Anybody else? Comments, problems, suggestions? We're good? Okay. Well, then thank you so much for showing up, ladies. I appreciate it. And for everybody who's watching the replay, if you have any questions at all, you are obviously in contact with Summer, so she can forward anything that you want to ask about to me. And yeah, thank you so much for
This
being
is
here.
really cool. Yeah, thank you. I like it a
Thank
lot. And
you.
then I'll get back to you so we can schedule like a one-on-one at some point this year.
Yeah, this year. Okay, good.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Jennifer.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jennifer.
Thank you so much, Jennifer, for this presentation. I love what you do, and I think it's really cool, like Danny said, to see like the science behind it, and like you even mentioned, like the kind of taking away some of that woo-woo. And I think it's something that's very beneficial for women and for business owners, for anybody. So thank you for sharing that with us. As Jennifer mentioned, she does have the workshop coming up. We're going to have details about that on our community calendar on our website. We'll also send a recap email to everyone just so they know where to find the resources and the other workshops we have coming up. But thank you again, everyone, for attending in the middle of this day, getting your day off to a good start. And thank you, Jennifer, for sharing with us.
Thank you for having me. I hope it
Thank
was
you.
helpful.
Thank you
Bye.
again. Bye.